Hi, my name is David P Shapiro. I'm the owner and managing partner of the law office of David P Shapiro, located in San Diego, California, where my firm helps good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime. In this video, I want to talk to you about what to do and, more importantly, what not to do if you were involved in a collision or being accused of being involved in a collision and DUI was suspected or hit and run was suspected. Whether we're talking about, the lowest end misdemeanor DUI without injury, the lowest end hit and run without injury, minimal property damage, or we're talking the most serious, something like a vehicular manslaughter, something even like a murder if you have a prior DUI or have received prior substance abuse treatment. And the mindset and the strategy is pretty much the same. You want to obviously comply with your obligations to the insurance carrier, but not at the expense of your criminal case, not at the expense of your freedom, not at the expense of a felony conviction, not at the expense of all these other collateral consequences that come with being charged, let alone being convicted in criminal court. So let's assume you have a situation where you're involved in an accident, you may leave the scene and run away. Okay, well, what that has accomplished is, in essence, you might have avoided being charged with the DUI because they don't have a blood alcohol content. Everyone may think you might have been DUI, but that really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they think. It matters what they can prove, no matter what type of case we're dealing with. And now you're like, okay, well, I got to go get my car. I got to go get my car out of the tow yard, and I got to put in an insurance claim, right? Because, I don't want to be out all this money, or I'm still making payments on the car, whatever the case may be. So you reach out and you call your insurance, and you're like, yeah, I was involved in an accident. It was on the corner of, 5th and Walnut in San Diego, and I was driving. Well, what have you just done? You've given a key element away of the offense, that you were actually driving, right? So why not just say, my car was involved in an accident. Who was driving? A politely declined to answer that question, right? Because when you admit that you were driving, now you put yourself behind the wheel. Now you put yourself with those obligations that come with it, particularly as it relates to a hit and run. So that's where having a quality, locally experienced criminal defense law firm by your side, well before even your first court date, if you're facing DUI with an accident or an injury, and hit and run with an accident or injury charges, to make sure that what you're doing civilly with insurance is not going to come back and hurt you with your criminal case. And that is essential, because far too often, we come in on cases and it's like, okay, well, either a former law firm or people didn't hire a firm, or clients didn't hire a firm to represent them before. And it's like, well, did you speak to insurance? Oh yeah, I gave an hour recorded statement where I talked about drinking and where I was coming from and that I was driving and all that stuff. And we're like, okay, that's going to be a problem if it gets in the hands of a prosecutor. And if the prosecutor's awake, they're going to try and get access to those insurance statements. So you always want to be smart. And that's where, obviously, this is not something many of us are familiar with. I mean, look, I was arrested. Okay, I was in law school. I still was unfamiliar with the process on what to do, how things were working in that city, in that state, in those courts. Okay, so unless you're a criminal defense attorney in the jurisdiction where you're being arrested, you're not really expected to know how things are supposed to be. And that's why you have the resources, or should avail yourself of the resources, of a quality criminal defense law firm, whether it's mine or another one of the few quality criminal defense law firms here in San Diego. So if you have any questions about a hit and run, DUI with injury, anything along those lines on how best to deal with insurance and how we can maximize that experience to help you in your criminal case, please give my firm a call, 619-295-3555. Again, my name is David Shapiro, San Diego criminal attorney.